If you're a nurse who's ever caught yourself thinking, I can't imagine doing this until retirement, this video's for you. A few years ago, something shifted in me. I realized I don't want nursing to decide when I'm done. I don't want to wait until I'm completely burned out. And I definitely don't want to wake up 5 years from now wishing I had started building something sooner. I want that decision to be mine. Now, before you misunderstand me, I'm not talking about quitting nursing tomorrow. That's not what this video is about. I'm talking about building another option while I still have the security of my nursing career so that when the day comes to leave, it's because I chose it. That one shift in thinking changed everything for me. For a long time, I kept telling myself I'd figure it out later. Later, when work settled down, when life wasn't so busy, later, when I had more confidence, or when I knew exactly what kind of business I wanted to build. The problem is, later has a way of turning into years. Before you know it, retirement is a whole lot closer than you ever imagined. I don't know about you, but that's a pretty uncomfortable feeling. I don't want to spend the next 10 years hoping everything somehow works out. I'd rather spend those years intentionally building something that gives me more options. That doesn't mean it has to be YouTube. It doesn't mean you have to build your business the way I'm building mine. In fact, I think one of the biggest mistakes we make is spending so much time trying to copy someone else's path that we never stop to ask, what's actually the right fit for me? YouTube finally feels right for me. Not because it's easy, but for the first time, building my business doesn't feel forced anymore. It feels like it fits who I am. That's a really different feeling than chasing every shiny object that pops up on the internet. And if you've been following me for a little while, you know I've tried a lot of different things over the years. Some worked, some didn't, but every one of them taught me something. And one lesson keeps coming back. The goal isn't to build someone else's dream. The goal is to build a future that fits the life you actually want. For me, that looks like more freedom with my time, more flexibility, more choices. It looks like traveling with my husband, being there for my grandkids, not having to ask someone else if I can take a week off. Your picture may look a little different than mine, and that's okay. The important part is that you start building it before life makes the decision for you, because that's the part I think so many of us wait too long to do. One thing I've realized over the last few months is this. I don't think my problem was that I wasn't willing to work. I've always been building something. The problem was I just kept changing directions. I'd get excited about an idea and jump in with both feet. Then I'd come across somebody else doing something completely different, and before long, I'd catch myself thinking, well, maybe that's what I should be doing. It wasn't that I was quitting, it was just that I was constantly redirecting my energy. Looking back now, I wasn't lacking motivation. I was afraid of committing to one path long enough to see what it could actually become. Every time you open the internet, someone else has the answer. One person says, just do affiliate marketing. The next one says, you've got to post 3 times a day on Instagram. Then, oh no, you've got to start a podcast to grow your business. After a while, it's hard to know who to listen to. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Kristy. I've been a nurse for 34 years and I'm building my own exit plan alongside nursing. I'm sharing this journey because I know I'm not the only nurse trying to figure this out. If something I'm learning saves you a few years of going in circles, it'll be worth sharing. Because that's exactly what I did for years. Every new direction felt exciting. Every new idea looked like it could finally be the one. But every time I switched gears, I was starting over again. I was busy all the time, but being busy isn't always the same as moving forward. That one hit me pretty hard. A few months ago, I asked myself a question I wish I'd asked years ago. What if the answer isn't finding something better? What if it's staying with one thing long enough to get really good at it? That question changed everything. For me, that one thing became YouTube. Not because I think every nurse should build a YouTube channel. You have to figure out what fits you. This just happens to be the first thing that feels natural to me. I actually look forward to sitting down and working on my business now. I enjoy making these videos, learning this platform. I love thinking about what might actually help another nurse who's trying to build her own exit plan. For the first time in a long time, I'm not chasing the next shiny object. I'm building something on purpose. And if you're ready to start building an exit plan with more freedom, more flexibility, and more choices, I'd love to have you inside my free Nurse Exit Plan Insider List. That's where I share what I'm learning each week, practical next steps, and the lessons I wish someone had shared with me years ago too. Because here's what I've come to believe. You don't have to have every step figured out before you begin. The future you're hoping for isn't built by finding the perfect path. It's built by choosing one and giving it enough time to grow. You know what surprised me the most through all of this? It wasn't finally landing on YouTube. It was realizing what I'd been chasing all along. For years, I kept telling myself I wanted to build an online business. But when I really stopped and thought about it, that was never the goal. The goal was having more control over my life, more freedom with my time, more flexibility, being able to take a trip without asking permission, spending more time with my family, knowing that when the day comes that I'm ready to leave nursing, it's because I chose to, not because I was burned out or because life made the decision for me. That's what I'm building now. Not just a business, I'm building choices, and that feels completely different. I'm not saying this journey's been easy. Some weeks I feel like I'm making great progress. Other weeks, I wonder if I'm moving fast enough. There are still days when I have more questions than answers. But I'd rather keep moving in one direction than spend another 5 years starting over every time something new catches my attention. I've done that enough. If I could encourage you to do just one thing, it would be this. Choose a direction that fits the life you're trying to create. Then give yourself permission to stay with it long enough to see what it can become. Not for a week, not until the next exciting opportunity shows up. Long enough to build something that's actually yours. Because the future you're hoping for isn't built in one big decision. It's built one intentional step at a time. And maybe that's the biggest lesson I've learned through all of this. You don't have to know exactly where the road leads. You just have to stop turning around every few miles. So if you're ready to start building an exit plan that gives you more freedom, more flexibility, and more choices while you're still working as a nurse, I'd love to have you inside my free Nurse Exit Plan Insider List. Every week, we have real, honest conversations. And if today's video resonated with you, be sure to pair it with this next one. In it, I share the biggest shift I made that helped me stop chasing every shiny object and finally start building with intention. If you've ever found yourself changing directions every time a new opportunity comes along, or you're still trying to figure out which path is right for you, I think it's the perfect next video to watch. I'll see you over there.